see. All right, let me see if I can move this back some for you. All right. I realize that there are brothers, there's a lot of you out there who are attempting to apply a process. Right? Let me see, pardon. All right. Y'all are attempting to apply a process that people keep, we can call it nationalizing, nationality, right? So I'm going to go over what I did and why I did what I did. All right. And before I go over it the way that I did it, I'm going to go over it the way that I would recommend those who didn't go through what I went through, right, to do it this way. Before you have to go around your elbow to get to your thumb like I had to do. I'm going to do my best to save you some time and some energy, right? What am I looking for? Boom, boom, boom. All right, let me see. And you will be able to catch the recap on the YouTube channel. All right, so if you're coming in late or if you're at work and you're busy and you can't really catch this, subscribe. I will be placing this on the YouTube channel, and this is for free. This is just what I did, though. I'm not telling you this is the only way. I'm telling you this is what I did and why I did what I did. All right. Okay. I am going to simplify this as best I can. Do my best to not go on and on. All right. Okay. So, what does it mean to nationalize? All right. To nationalize means to give your property back to your government. All right. So, example, in Europe, we'll say Russia. Russia desires to nationalize. All of the Russian people pledge their allegiance, their time, their energy, their labor, and whatnot to Russia. That's nationalizing. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So, boom, boom, and we will use all right. All right. Birth certificate, social security card. All right. This is my legal person. When I was born, my mother and father decided to name me. And when they named me, they registered my name in order for me to have a legal presence in the economy of the nation. Okay. This information, this property that are in possession are to be administrated by who? By what? By the government in which I live and by the government in which I was born. So this was issued to me through Pennsylvania, right? The Social Security Administration then established an identity, a legal identity, EIN, right? Commercial number to it, okay? So when I was born, the name that was given to me, right, was without any ancestral identity. And I was also born um, under a black status. Okay, so the status of my legal entity was black. Okay, now black means non-redeemable. Black means like not to be seen. It cannot be seen, not recognized. Okay, so I learned right through my studies that in order for myself and for my children, right, to be redeemed through their nation, America, right, that I had to go back and correct this, right? So I had to figure out what this status was about. What was this status about? The status says race. Okay? The status, the racial status that I was born under is listed as black. Okay? It's a racial status, standard form 181, ethnicity and race identification, right? Everyone in America, especially if you're doing business anywhere, um, you will be presented with some form of this actual form, right? Where it asks, what is your race or your ethnicity? You know, American Indian. What is your Latino, Hispanic? Yes or no, etc. Right, etc. So, black or African American, right? I learned means a person having origins in any of the black racial groups of Africa. Okay, so that's what I grew up under this person. So this person, this legal entity, right, having origins in black racial groups of Africa. Now, I don't know any black racial groups in Africa. This is just me being real with you. I don't know any place in Africa where the people historically called themselves black, but neither here nor there right now, right? So I'd always been told that I had some type of African ancestry. All right. So on this form here, I've noticed that there was another African ancestry on here, right? It says that white is a person, a legal entity, having origins in any of the original peoples of Europe, the Middle East, or North Africa, right? And so, and I'm going to show you this. The wording kind of caught me off guard because with black, it says a person having origins in any of the black racial groups of Africa, right? But if you take a look at American Indian, Asian, Native Hawaiian, and white, they all say a person having origins in any of the original peoples. You can see that. And so again, this black status, right? It caught my attention, right? Because again, I was never able to find a black racial group, right, in Africa. Anywho, I also recognize that Europe, the Middle East, and North Africa all have we'll say before 1492, all three of these areas being identified, three different continents being in union under Islamic uh, heritage. Damn, these fucking flies, man. Anywho, I took note of that, right? So when I got into this, uh, yeah, nationality movement, right? Uh, I learned all of these things, right? I figured these things to be uh, the purpose of my uh, yeah. I found this to be the reason why I've been treated as a debtor in society. Okay, so I had to figure out how do I correct this, right? Because I don't I don't see any difference other than skin tone when it comes to humanity. So I can't imagine me personally, right, that my skin tone decides whether uh, the law applies to me or not, right? I went through the Moorish Divine and National movement, right, and this is my foundation, right. So the Moorish Divine and National movement taught me that these black status people have North African descent. And like I just showed you, the North African descent, and that's Egyptian, Libyan, Algerian, Tunisian, Tripolian, right? Mauritanian, Moroccan, and even West Saharan, right? All of this is North Africa, right? And so I'm like, all right, well, in the Moorish Divine and National movement, you have this whole Canaanite ideology. This is the source, and everybody comes from Canaan, and you have your Moabites, your these, your that's, right? Anywho, I figured myself to be the Moabite. So the Moabites are the Moroccans of the Moorish identity. Okay, but you have the Hamitites would be like the Egyptians, or maybe Canaan might even be Egypt. I don't want to get too far off. Anyway, once I realized that there was a white racial group in Africa, right? I decided that I would much rather identify with the white status African, okay, rather than the black African that doesn't have uh, the black person that does not have an origin in any people. According to the United States, black has no African American has no link to original peoples. It doesn't. Okay, that's not belief. It's right here, right? And again, I'll show you. This is what's in the. If you could just read it, right? Again, it says black. A person having origins in any of the black racial groups, but everybody else has original peoples. Y'all see that? Okay. So I said, all right, I'm going to be the North African. I'm going to be the Moorish American. I also like Moorish American because it's a title. It's a name that was given to a people by one of their own people, as opposed to a name that was given to a people by another people. Right. So that's why I like it. Right. So all of that being said, the only way that I could correct and change this information here, right, is if I started at the base level with the Social Security office. All right, I got 6 hearts. I guess that's what it is. So I'm going over the nationality process that I went through, right, just to explain to the people, according to my understanding, my comprehension, the instructions to take, right? That's what I'm doing, beloved. I'm just going to explain it to the people as best that I can, what I did, why I did it, and what am I supposed to expect from it, right? Because a lot of people go through the nationalization process thinking that there's some type of uh, 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 relief from duty, Right? A lot of these brothers and sisters think that they don't have to work or put forth any effort after they've secured themselves in commerce. Right? That's what I'm doing, below. Absolutely, absolutely. All right, so I chose the title of L. Okay, so I was born Brandon Eugene Davis. That's the personal name that I do business in. Okay, that's the name that was given to me. That's the name that was registered. Right, this is my legal entity. It's not me, it's my person. And this person belongs to any of the black racial groups of Africa. Okay. Now, I had to figure out, where do I go? I figured out what I had to do. I had to change it, right? Then I said, well, where do I go? Where do I go to change, to update, whatever word we're going to use? Where do I go to correct my status in the nation? All right. So now this is the part where I'm telling you what to do piece by piece, not what I actually did. I went around in a circle, but I got there. Right. I went and got the passport. I employed a lot of other information to get my title to my name, to come back around, just to change it on the social security number so that I would perfect my person. Okay. All right. So I found out that the SS, Social Security, the SS5 form, application for a social, let me see, check. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Oh, that goes there too. Excuse me. Do I? All right, yeah, perfect. Fucking perfect. All right, this has nothing on it, so I can show you this. All right, so you see on the SS5, top left-hand corner, right? SS5, Social Security 5. All right. Now this is an application for a Social Security card, right? Now you're not applying for a new card. All right. The concept for the Moorish Americans, okay, for those who desire to have this title, this is what you would do to put your title onto your name. But for anyone born under the Black or African American racial group, this is where you, if you desire to be in unity with the rest of humanity, put it that way, commercially, in status, this is where you correct that. Okay? We have ethnicity. We have citizenship, right? If you look at number one up here, pardon me, I'm trying to do it back. All right. Number one, name to be shown on card. Right. Right. Pardon me. Name to be shown on card, right? Just to show you. This is the name that I was This is the name that I was born with. Y'all see that? All right. This is the name that is on this document right here. So I was able to what? Update the name on the card. I updated, and I'll show you again, just real quick. I updated the name on the card, right? To reflect the name on the card. Y'all see that? Right? So the name on my card, the name on this card, I needed to. This is what if you take heed, pay attention. This is a key, right? The name on the Social Security card and on the passport card must match. They must match to create a balance on the account of the personality. All right, that's important to know. Right, this is one of the things that I went through and realized that I can speak from experience now to let y'all know for a fact. Right, that if these names don't match, right, then commercially, when you're applying for benefits, if you will, right, like unemployment, if these names do not match, it will default to the Social Security number because this is the source document. Okay, so what I did, I filled out this SS5. What you should do, if you're not changing your title, if you're not placing a title onto your name, all right, don't worry about that process on here. Okay, but if you are someone who does desire to have the L, the Bay, or whatever you desire to be at the end of your name, if you wish to have any title, you can do it here, right? But nonetheless, let me see here. All right, trying to do too much. All right, so the first thing you need to do, fill these things out. If you have other names that you've been using, right? Pardon me, up here, yeah. If you have other names that you've been using, right? Again, why? Because you are attempting to show that you are not acting fraudulently. A lot of people coming into this nationality information, they have fraudulent intentions. Don't give the Soj. Don't give your name. Change your name. If you're going to do all of that, it still has to link up with this information. If you're doing business, if you're looking for the full faith and credit of the United States, then you have to have this. This is a must. And if you are attempting to get the debits or the benefits, right, in some other manner than what is just necessary, right, that's fraud. There is no reason to not give this information. If you're trying to get a passport and they tell you, oh, yeah, you shouldn't give the social or whatever, they do not look at this instrument as a security instrument. If they're telling you to get rid of it or don't use it, then what they're telling you to do is to not pledge this as collateral. That's what they're telling you. If they tell you, oh yeah, don't use this, go and get a W-8 ban, or come in as a foreign national. If these are the things that you wish to do, I'm not here to teach you. I'm not here to teach you that. Right? Anyway. So for those of you born with the black status, right? Number 5, it says citizenship. You want your person, right? Your entity to be a U.S. citizen. It must be a U.S. citizen in order for it to be beneficial. Okay? Okay, now, my U.S. citizen was established in Pennsylvania. That's the estate, right? And it's not secure, right? All right. Race here, it says, again, you see it. right? White, white, right? Or this is where you are you doing this in the executive status out of curiosity? I mean, you always have, yes, this is what I am doing. Absolutely. Yeah. Executor and administrator. Fiduciary. Everything is in fiduciary capacity. The nature of fiduciary is trust. So yes, that's exactly what I am doing. That's what I'm attempting to express. Right? The trust. Right? All right. And my intentions is to be in harmony with the economy. I do not wish to be adverse. I do not wish to be combatant. I observe the wealthy, the rich and the wealthy. They all utilize this information. I don't see them running from this shit. And if I wish to be like them, right, as far as trust, as far as wealth is concerned, right, then I'm gonna do what they're doing. I'm not gonna keep running out here, bumping my head, trying some shit that people haven't done. I'd rather look at these people and observe them, right? In the wealthy society, this does not mean jack spit. In the rich, in the wealthy, all that matters is your wealth. That's the truth of the matter. Anyway, so you change your. This is where you change your. This is where you update your status to white. For anyone who has the black status, it starts here at the Social Security office. It starts there, right? Because the Social Security office is the one who what? Initially, they're the ones who, uh, uh, what's the word here? Issued. There you go. They're the one who issued you. Come on in. The number. It belongs to them, y'all. It belongs to them. This belongs to Pennsylvania. This belongs to the Social Security Administration. When that which I am ceases to be on this plane, this goes back to Pennsylvania, and this goes back to the Social Security Administration office, and my energy is going to do what it do. So I don't own any of this. I control it while I'm here, though. Right? I am in this world as a trustee. I'm not of this world. I don't own any of this. All right. So once you update your commercial status, because again, just to show you, in case y'all didn't see it, right? The ethnicity and race identification, I'll read it to you, okay? The Privacy Act statement. Ethnicity and race information is requested under the authority of 42 United States Code, Section 2000E-16. So you know a lot of the people who like to deal with the USCs and the codes, look that up, right? It says, and in compliance with the Office of Management and Budget's 1997 revisions to the standards for the classification of federal data on race and ethnicity. Providing this information is voluntary and has no impact on your employment status. But in the instance of missing information, your employing agency will attempt to identify your race and ethnicity by visual observation. You cannot do that. There is no way that you can do that. And so, though it is voluntary, if you do not identify for the record, then someone else will assume you otherwise. Someone else will assume that because your skin is dark, that you're black, or because you may have certain features, right? They may call you Chinese when you're Mexican, you know? De la raza, right? Mexicanos, right? They may see you, they will assume that he's black because he didn't say that he was white. Okay? So they tell you these things, right? Now listen, this information is used as necessary to plan for equal employment opportunity throughout the federal government, y'all. Peace, peace, and love. Evergreen, peace, more. Glad to see you make your round back to me. I remember you. All right. So, what did I just read here? Okay. It says this information is used as necessary to plan for equal employment opportunity throughout the federal government. So, this is a federal recognition that you're looking for here. Federally. Now, if you're white, then you have that creditor status in commerce. And if you're not, if you're anything else, you may have, like if this says, prime example, Asian, right? So there are people who are Asian who are not Americans through birth, right? So they would have their, government national backing if they were to come to America. But as someone born in America, right? This is your federal government. We have to correct the social status. Absolutely. Hold on. Let me see. Yeah, I didn't get the question. You know what? Can some. So you're saying you need to correct your social? All right, listen, Brother C. Leon. Is that who this was? Like I said, right, in the beginning. So as to keep the flow going, right? You can subscribe to the YouTube channel. When I'm done with this, I'm going to place it on the YouTube channel. The YouTube channel, the link is in the bio. And then you'll be able to catch all of this up from the beginning to the end, all right? And it won't deter me from trying to get it out. I got you, family. All right. Okay. So, white, Native Hawaiian, or other Pacific Islander. Now, mind you, that's out in the Pacific. We talking about California to Asia and all of that water over there, right? American India, Alaska Native. So now we're talking about from the top of Alaska, damn near Russia, all the way down, we'll say to the Florida coast, right? And then you also have, then they have which catches me off guard though, right? Because they ask you if you're Hispanic or Latino, and they put the Hispanic or Latino, they put the people of Cuba, the Cubans, the Mexicans, the Puerto Ricans, the Southern and Central Americans, or other Spanish culture or origin, regardless of race, they have that as an ethnicity. So calling yourself Cuban, Mexican, these are not races. According to these, Cuban, Mexican, Puerto Rican, Central American, South or Central American, etc. These are not a race. This is an ethnic identity. Just for you all to know that, right? But in reality, they are nationalities, right? So, anywho, I want to keep going. All right. So, A person having origin, the federal government. All right, so your identity with the federal government. If you are federally recognized, then you can be federally secure, is the key. Okay? If you are not federally recognized, then and that's where the money's at, then you can't do business. Do you have any knowledge on how to obtain old existing treaty agreements? I would say get in contact with a good library, and see if they have any type of information regarding that type of stuff. Yeah, that would be your best bet. Or engaging the Library of Congress, maybe if that's possible. If you have any in mind, maybe seeking that out from them. What about the non-national instead? So a non-national, I'm glad you mentioned that because so a non-national, if I, a non, wait, non-nationals, non-citizen nationals, what are we talking about? Because I'm a free national citizen. I was getting to that. I identify as a free national citizen of the USA. I'm a national citizen. I'm a citizen of my state. I'm a citizen of the country. Yeah. Non-national citizens. So a non-national citizen would be, again, let's say that I'm from China. Not just that my ancestors are from China. I was born in China, right? And then in my growth, I come to America, right, to seek whatever it is, business, absolutely, right? And let's say I find myself here in Pennsylvania, right? I am a non-citizen national. I'm a because I would be a national to China. My citizenship would be to China, right? That your citizenship is where you're born. So to call yourself a non-national citizen of the United States means that you were not born in the United States or within its governing uh, trust law, which is, uh, for real, Canada. But if we want to keep it politically correct, from Alaska, down to what, Texas. But to keep it real, it's from fucking Canada down to Argentina, for real, for real. But nonetheless, so a non-national means that you are not an American. You may be a citizen of a state, but you're not a national of the land. That's what a non-citizen national is. That's what a non-national citizen is. All right. It means that you've come from somewhere else. A non-national, in order for them to become a national of the not United States, they would have to naturalize, which may involve them uh, denouncing denouncing their own uh, you know, political status at home. So are we all employees to this franchise? Yes. This franchise is the family business. Everybody out here acting like we different. That's the problem because this is the family business. It's screwed up because the family isn't acting like family. So yeah, I'm the same way that a Sudanese would be an employee to the Sudanese nation. Yes, I'm definitely that here. Absolutely. Again, I can't do business. The wealth of the nation. We know in 1933 the wealth of the nation was pledged to the national government. In 1933, everyone nationalized their property. I don't see how people miss that. All right? Visit the YouTube channel. The New Deal tied us in. Absolutely. The New Deal, the Emergency Banking Relief Act that was taking us off of tangible collateral debt and giving us pledges of collateral debt. So in 1929, 1928, this right here, the birth certificate, the social security, as a secured instrument would have already been pledged to whatever national organization I was a part of. And then that national organization, if it did right before the crash, would have pledged all of my collateral and the group's collateral to the national government, right? And so then when the 1933 New Deal comes in, right, that people understand that we are to follow the same process. It's the same. That's what I'm showing you, that this is my gold, my silver, and my commerce right here. These two instruments. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying these are my instruments, and I had to pledge them to secure them. I had to nationalize them. I had to secure them with my government, with my federal government. Now I'm a federally recognized citizen. Well, what does it mean to be federally recognized? The tax exemptions are recognized. The rights in the private can be recognized in the public. Why? Because you're known, you're on record. Or as the brother said, you're a franchisee, whatever you want to call it. You have authority. This is the family business. This is the family business. America's supposed to be all of us, not just some of us versus them. So if a lot of people let that shit play with their heartstrings, you know, oh, we're this and or we're that, and culture and appropriation and all of that stuff. If y'all let all that stuff get in your head, then that's on you, all right? Because we're supposed to be helping each other out here. I don't care whatever religion you want to be a part of. There's no religion that tells you that people's skin color determines whether God loves them or not. If you're into that sort of thing, you know. So you are using? No, I'm not. No, I don't use no W8 bends. I don't know what that's used for. So no, I don't use that. I don't understand why you're assuming that either. Yeah, why don't you come on up and just talk with me, right? Because you're being very vocal in the content. Yeah. Oh wait a minute. No, 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 I don't do that. Hey, let me put my headsets in, and then I can actually hear you. Yeah.
Peace and power to you, brother.
Give me 1 second.
Yeah, the reason why I was asking because the W-8 bin itself is a tax exempt form.
Okay, I didn't hear you. I had to turn you up. What did you say, brother?
Well, first, peace and power to you, brother. But the W-8 bin itself is a tax exempt form, so that's what I was wondering if that
Okay,
was on.
okay. No, so the tax exemption comes from, so your passport now that your number is a taxpayer number. It's
Right,
a taxpayer that's exempt,
right.
at least from
Well,
federal taxes. All right, that's all I'm suggesting.
okay.
Yeah, I'm not saying. Again, I'm not one of the individuals that would teach the people that you're not supposed to pay taxes at all. No, you can't call me now, bro. You're supposed to call me when I. Anyway, my bad. There are people who think that we're not supposed to pay taxes at all, and I feel it's because they don't understand government, right?
Hmm.
But those are the people who say, "Oh yeah, I shouldn't pay taxes on anything." Well, taxes if you understand that the business is a family business, taxes is what you're giving to your family to to act as trustee,
Okay.
on your behalf. But I don't feel like people really catch that scenario, and so you got a lot of people who are just trying to duck. I know for a fact that I haven't paid federal taxes while working. That certain stores, I am able to utilize my passport information as a tax exempt certificate.
Okay. Yeah, I'm aware of that.
Right. Okay. So these are, and I'm even curious. Uh, I'm not sure if we're even really using those appropriately, but I mean they're passing through. I recall someone at went to a store and utilized that information, and the person had put one number too many with my passport, and it still came out as a tax exempt certificate,
Hmm.
even though it wasn't my number. It was like I said, it was a 10-digit number. I only got nine. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
So, but it's
Yeah,
still tendered and it's still registered as taxes. So I'm not even quite sure if that's the play.
no, I understand because, like it says, in even in the state and the Constitution itself, it said, and that's in under Article 1, Section 8 or 10, I believe it says, no person shall be taxed unless freely given.
Mm, right. If you are not a part of the active work being done in the society, all right, then you don't have to pay taxes because you're not. Taxes is investment.
Right, because the W-4 form clearly says voluntary
Yeah,
withholding
it's
of that.
voluntary. You don't have to volunteer the information, but if you're working within the United States and you're not recognized as exempt, they're going to remember it's just numbers on a piece of paper, so they're gonna adjust the shit the way they need to. It
Understood. I
may
got
do
you.
it might do an individual more harm than help trying to go in. Oh, it's voluntary. Don't give it to them. I tried that. I'd rather just give my passport number and on a W-9 or whatever say that, yeah, I don't believe that I will be liable for tax this year or the year prior. That's how
Understood.
I would deal with that because that's what I did when I was employed. And when I got my W-2s, there was no withholding. There was no federal withholding. It's been about a year and some change. I haven't received anything in the mail stating that I owe anything federally or anything like that.
Got you. All right. Yeah, I appreciate the information, man.
No problem. Under the regulations of commerce or the power. I'm gonna go ahead and drop you down below.
All right.
All right, here we go. Good question, Prince. All right. So I didn't. So you adjust your social. Hold on. So you adjust your social first. Yes, I would suggest that you suggest Dawn Amaru Khan child support. We didn't say anything about it, brother. I ain't even talking on that right now at this moment. All right. But yeah, so I'm saying the best thing to do is deal with your status at the base, at the foundational level, Social Security. All right. I don't recommend that anyone goes and changes anything on the birth certificate. Right. There are people who are meeting resistance in certain processes because they're being told that adding their titles, right, is like a name change, and they need a legal name change. And there are brothers and sisters who their words aren't right, and so they say, I've had brothers and sisters tell me, oh yeah, I got to get my name changed to get my L or my Bay, and I'm like, you're not changing your name. My name is Brandon Eugene Davis. I will never change my name. So if I don't change my name, then that if it's not a name change, then that information cannot be used against me. Right? I did not change my name on a birth certificate. I connected, annexed, or amended my religious title to it. That's it. So now I just go by L, Davis L. You know, last name, title. That's me personally, right? All right. I feel like all right, yeah, but deal with it on a social security level. Make sure that and again, this is for all of you who have who are identified under the black status. Now it says that you can choose more than one citizenship on here too. All right, let me see here. All right, you can choose whatever citizenship that you feel applies to you. All right. So I have a U.S. citizen, and my U.S. citizen is now white, and I now changed my title. Okay, so if you're a part of an organization, some of you are maybe a part of the Moorish Science Temples of America. If you are, then you can use that identification, right? Along with, uh, let's say, a driver's license or something like that, whatever the case may be, right? When you're filling this out, or when you're updating your social security number, right? As long as if you fill out the W-4 for a job, what should one do? Okay, so when you're using your power, when you're filling out a job application, the passport number is to be used in place of the social security number. And when it asks if you believe that you were liable for taxes the prior year or the following, or that you believe that you may be liable the following year, if you do not believe that you will be, then you mark no. Everything else is easy peasy. There's nothing extra that needs to be done. You just make sure that when you fill out your application, you mark yourself as white, your person as white. You know, again, that puts you in a better position economically because you're being recognized not as a debtor, right? Or okay, you're not being identified as a passive entity. You will now be recognized as an active entity. Active means it means to be observable, right? Having life civilly. All right. I hope that helps. All right. So once you've corrected your social security entity, right? Once you do this, now you have the DS-11. Okay. The DS-11 form is the passport application form. It is the citizenship form. This is how you declare your nationality with this DS-11 form and an affidavit attesting to certain facts that you're putting on record with your State Department, and your State Department being a department of the national government as a whole. So now that you have your Social Security right number, or excuse me, your Social Security name and title together, and you have the white status together, now you go ahead and you apply for your passport. You don't need to have one of these uh, uh, makeshift identity cards I would tell you all to avoid that. Avoid paying someone $50 for a card that you can't use. If you really, if you really desire to get your title annexed, right? Start using that title from now for the next 5 years. Go get a library card. Go get a library card. You can use a library card. Okay? To establish identity. All right? Along with, so here's an example. Let me, right? Because being told is one thing, but being shown is another. All right, so let's say so let's say that this is my license and this is my birth and this is my library card, right? And on my library card it has my name with my title on it, right? But on my driver's license it doesn't have that, right? How do we deal with that? So on the DS11 form, damn man, I really wish I'm just gonna have to get one that is not filled out to use. Hold on, I may have one of these that's not all the way filled out. All right, well, we'll make it work. Excuse me. All right. All right. So let's just take a look at this real quick, right? And we'll avoid all the personal information. So you see how it says on line number 1, right? On line number 1, it says last name, first name, and middle name, right? This is the name that you want to have on your card, right? So you see, this is what I did, right? I put my L on there, right? And then on line number 9, right? On line number 9, it says what? List of other names you have used. And so I put Brandon Eugene Davis. Right? Now, what does that do? Again, let's say that this is my library card. I have evidence that I recognize with my title, right? Legitimate ID. And I'm telling you, yes, that I used the name without the title to show you that, yes, this is the same individual, right? Plus, you really won't have to go through all of that once you change your your social security number, excuse me, to reflect that information. If you have the Social Security office is not worried about the name that's on the birth certificate. They're concerned with the name that is on the financial account. This is the name, right? So if that's already on the Social Security card, right, then you're good to go, right? So what did I do, right? I used other information. Um, First of all, when I first figured out that I wanted to be an L, right, Davis L, I began writing that, using that. I've been using Davis L since about 2013, 2014, right? In all of my endeavors, I was writing it. I'm out in the world. I'm saying it. Someone's saying Davis. I'm like, oh no, it's Davis L. I just put that's my religious title. It's the same name as Davis. This is my religious title, Davis L. Oh, okay, no problem, Mr. Davis L. right? So I didn't meet a lot of resistance when I was able to explain to people, no, this is the same name. This is just my religious title, right? So I had child support issues, right? That they've gotten cleared up, and because I had been using my title of L, Davis L, right, through all of those litigating processes. When I received the court order saying that everything was cool, it said Brandon Davis L. This is information that I had to send to the U.S. Department of State because they had inquired. Hey, it hadn't been 30 days, right, since I received that favorable judgment through court. And so I needed to show proof, right? So, boom, I sent them that. So I already had that. But I'd used identification cards from RV Bay, right? And I'd used information from the U.S. Department of Justice and the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services, or Homeland Security as well, right? Just trying to show them in any which way, shape, fashion, or form. I'm not trying to operate as Brandon Davis, but I'm not saying that does not belong to me, or that I'm not the one who's in possession of that legal type, of that legal entity. All right. If you correct it on the Social Security card, once you actually get your passport, you won't have that issue of trying to figure out how does this work? Oh man. And I'm gonna just be, because you don't need to place your title on it. You do not have to have the L, the Bay, the Ali, the Day, the Al, the Shah, the Maharaja, the Pasha, Effendi, Muhammad, Suleiman. You don't have to have these titles on there because your last name is the title. Your last name is the title. What title? It's the family. It's the franchise title. Your first name is the franchisee. Okay? On your birth certificate, your first name is first. That's your personal liability. On your passport, your last name is first. That's your professional liability. You're held in trust. You're in favor. You're seen as one of the children of the trust. Shit. Right? We ain't got to say God and all of that, but whatever. So, quick recap. If you were born with the black status, the SS5 form, right? Replacement Social Security, right? And again, if you wish to have the title, just make sure that you have some form of ID that's been used in the public. Not none of this trash. Not none of this trash. Not this trash. Don't have. I would break this, but I use this for demonstration. Don't be out there with nothing like this, or it. The information on it is great to know, y'all. It really is. All right, it's great to know. But if you cannot express it, what good is it? Because they're not going to take this, read it, and say, "Oh, okay, here. I'm sorry, lady. Go ahead, go on." But they'll take this and have more consideration. Why? Because this is recognized on the federal level, and the local level does not have immediate authorization. This is recognized on the state level, and local government does not have immediate access. This trash. It's fucking trash, y'all. All right. Pick that up. put that somewhere, right? But I'm letting you all know, getting all of those makeshift IDs and shit, it's not gonna help you. It's gonna harm you. Yes, I did it, but I had other things to support what I did. And again, I was not using it trying to escape. I wasn't trying to say I'm a non-citizen national or, you know, no, I'm a U.S. national. See, here's my U.S. national person, right? Here's my U.S. person. Here's my U.S. national person. Two forms. I'm the substance. I'm the substance. I'm not a person. This is my person, and this is my secured person. My person has been secured. So I don't know if I said it, but I'll say it now. What I was speaking about, making sure that the name on the Social Security card and the name on your passport card must match commercially. If you do intend to receive any benefits on claims, and while doing so, not add to the national debt, right? When I filed for unemployment last year, um, I've been working with my passport. Uh, so when I filed, I gave them my passport number, because I understood I didn't use the socials. So there's no reason why they would need it, right? That was my understanding at the time. And so I filed, and it was explained to me, right? As I asked, they told me, hey, we need the social. And I'm like, well, what do you need my social security number for? I don't use it. I didn't use it. I have no intentions of using it. And she said it. She said, well, it's because the names don't match. So that tells me immediately that if you file any type of claim, the name that's on the social security, it's going to come up because this is the source. And if this name does not match the name on any other document that you use in the claim, then it's going to go here. It's not going to benefit. All right. I'm paying into Social Security when I work using my passport. I'm paying in as a creditor. All right, but yeah. Anyway, so I was receiving. That's what I meant to say. I was receiving benefits, public benefits, as Brandon Davis, right? But I was working with the passport, and I knew that if I gave the Social Security number, that it would set off a red flag. It would cause an audit because I'm under contract. I'm under certain agreements. If my financial situation ever changes, right, I must let it be known. Yes, I receive food stamps. They didn't cut my stamps. They cut the cash. All right, but nonetheless, when I gave them the social, of course, that red flag did happen. What I realized is that had the name on the Social Security card and the name on the passport card had been the same, I would have received a safe passage and it would not have red flagged. Just something for y'all to. So I don't wish to tell you. I wish to tell you to operate on both sides of the ledger. Is all I can tell you, right? In honor, right? Because you should never let them mix. They should always stay balanced. You know what I'm saying? Absolute, right? So you change on your Social Security to white status. Make sure that it is a U.S. citizen. Now, when you get your passport, I marked no to U.S. citizenship, and now I feel like I should have marked yes, but my affidavit did for me what I need for it to do for me. Dang. All right, I'm gonna cut this off, y'all. I gotta holler at my man. And shit, right? But I'll get back with y'all. I'll get back with y'all. All right. I have to catch that call. Peace and love to you all. I will upload this to the YouTube channel. Link in bio. Y'all take care. Oh, wait a minute. As always, I am your brother, man, L. David Sal. Just coming to show you the way, right? I'll get back with y'all later.